ejo wabaddeyo presidential debate era ng'abantu ab'enjawulo abeesoboddeyo okubeera nga tebavuganya ku ntebe ennene ey'obukulembeze bw'eggwanga basobodde okubeera nga tebasisinkana ne babeera nga ate munnange public ebasoya ebibuuzo abamu ku abasobodde okubeera nga tebalabikako mumu wabadde Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu omukulu Kasivante n'abalala ndowooza nga babiri basatu abalala bo basazeewo okubeera nga te ensooga eno bagyebalama tebasobodde okubeera nga tebalabikako naddala akulembera eggwanga lino omwami Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ye ekiwandiiko ekyenjawulo kyava ndowooza lwalina ku lwalinga lwakusatwa waliwo ekiwandiiko ekyenjawulo ekyavaayo nekipositingibwa ku mikutu egy'enjawulo era njagala okubeera nga te nkikuyitiramuko mpolampola regarding ku nsonga eno nga bawa ensonga zaabwe lwaki President Museveni agenda kubeera nga te agenda oba okwetaba mu presidential debate eno ekiwandiiko kino kigamba nti our attention has been drawn to an advert circulating on social media from NTV purporting to organize the presidential debate for the various aspirants and suggesting that NRM presidential candidate will take place. For the record, the NRM only received the invitation on 21st November 2025, long after the Electoral Commission had approved the candidacy campaign program. Such a debate was neither brought to the prior consideration of the candidates nor included in the EC approved program. Our presidential candidate is therefore not preparing to participate in any such debate. You know, yensonga abakulu aba NRM gye bawadde yasobodde okubeera nga ate munnange ebagaana okwetaba mu nsonga eno bamu debate eno yasobodde okubeera nga te ebeera olunaku lw'ejjo kakati no oluvannyuma Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu okubeera nga te eyayuguumiza campaign eno munnange ensonga zatuuse dda ne mu bakulu mu America eyo era nga bakiriza ddala ati akasajja ako kamaanyi nnyo era nga batandise okubeera nga ate bamwogerako sako n'ebyo Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu byeyasobodde okubeera nga ate ayogerako olunaku lw'ejjo ngenda kubeera nga te baterawo obutambi awo musobole okubeera nga te namwe mwewulirako embeera nga bwe yabadde Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu nga ayugumya ensi eno olw'ebyo bigambo ebyasobodde okubeera nga ate bimuvaamu. Just imagine ono omusajja si politician wabula muyimbi. Imagine omuyimbi ate omuyimbi eyaviira ddala eri mu ghetto ekamu kyaso kino nno ndowooza kibeera kyamaanyi nnyo so ngenda kubeera nga tembaterawo ensonga zo sako n'obutambi obulala bungi nnyo. Video liking nga sharing la comment section of course beera open wansi awo tekigenda kubeera nga ate osulawo endowooza Sheikh Asha musomi wa dduwa enamba zisimu zolaba wansi awo ziyita ku stika zimunoonye kajja kubeera nga ate akulombera edduwa ebikyagaanye bijja kubeera nga ate akutereereza mu side endala bannaffe ba Habibu airport pickup nabo we bali nnyo wansi awo banoonyeeko of course buli kimu kijja kubeera nga tekitambula bulungi nnyo mmalidadi sana kamba w'ensonga zino oluvannyuma kumawona mawulire amanyi tonvaavu.
Nice meeting you. Good to see you. Nelson the nationalist.
Please come. Abazungu utandikirewo.
Western region bonna bakandidate bono mukyala
Tata Solo has Your Excellency.
Yes, madam.
May it please you to sit next to her.
No, enjoy. I would rather see her face. Face on. When I'm on the side, I don't see you sitting.
Much obliged.
How are you, Madam Deputy?
Excellent. My
Again,
head gets higher and
wali mu nyumba era anytime tugenda ku debate ebyemiti Museveni yatudde n'atalabikako naye era pulezidenti ensonga genda zitaanya bulungi nnyo ezikwata future yaffe ya Uganda.
Right now, the statistics do show that 14% to 17% of Ugandans pay bribes, and 88% of those see corruption as a concern in the country. What would you do to improve Uganda's corruption perception index, which is terrible?
Thank you very much. You see, before we find a solution, it's very important for us to analyze the problem. I think it all begins and ends with leadership, and Mildred mentioned it a few moments ago, that the fish rots right from the head. It all goes back to governance. The IGG, Muliagonja, mentioned some time ago that the big fish in corruption are always pursued and they hide behind the president. We are in a country where the head of state is the chief priest of corruption. You have seen scandal after scandal, and all the culprits of corruption are protected by the head of state. You saw Anita Among, the current Speaker of Parliament, sanctioned internationally because of corruption by being protected by the head of state. Just a few days ago, a person that the court actually said had a case to answer on corruption, a minister called Lugorobi, he was cleared. Meanwhile, on the same day, other people were being arrested. There was allegations around Parliament, allegations of corruption, and the leader of opposition, who happens to be in presence today, wrote to the IGG to investigate those cases, and the IGG went mute. You have seen scandal after scandal in Parliament, 40 million bribe, 50 million bribe, 100 million bribe, all in exchange for the passing of classified money to be used by General Museveni, etc., etc. We have demonstrated our stand on corruption with the little power that we have, and we indeed continue to commit to Ugandans that as president, I will lead by example. When the president fights corruption, when the president observes zero tolerance to corruption, it goes down to the ministers, goes down to the permanent secretaries, and all the way down to all government officials. Our commitment will be zero tolerance to corruption. We've demonstrated that, and we will ensure that anybody that puts their hand in public money, the hand will not come out there, but the neck will go there as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Robert Gorani. If you were to become president, what immediate reforms will you use to drive an overhaul in TVET, and then also build real digital skills and ensure that the young person you have been meeting on this campaign trail is actually not locked out of the future?
Thank you very much. And I'm glad you mentioned that indeed we've been traveling all over the country. For me, this is more realistic than idealistic. These are not just statistics. These are realities. These are people. We've been there, and in every urban town we've reached, you've seen hundreds of young people that show up, that are desperate, they're strong, they're talented, they want to work, but these are young people that have been failed by a system. It should be noted that Uganda is ranked the most entrepreneurial country in Africa. However, the young people are being failed because 70% of the small businesses that are started do not live to complete one full year. They are failed because of high taxes. They are failed because of the cost of money, high interest rates. They are failed because of high electricity rates. They are failed because of high transportation, and this comes because of the broken down transport infrastructure. As a national unity platform in the new Uganda, we have a plan of establishing 10 million jobs. Here we're going to do this by leveraging the tourism sector. As you know, Uganda is immensely gifted. We're going to leverage the manufacturing sector, and most importantly, the creative industry. Now, having come from the creative industry, I know the potential of the creative industry. Uganda is equally as talented as Nigeria, or even more talented. But looking at the Nigeria's creative industry, it is almost outcompeting the oil industry. In fact, they call it the new oil because it is largely seen as even more engaging and more incorporating of young people, of the ordinary citizen, than the oil sector. Now, our plan is as follows. First, we want to empower and support the small, medium enterprises and the cottage industries. Now, for the benefit of our voters out there, cottage industries are the small scale industries, mainly in homesteads that are majoring in production. These, we must understand, looking at the growing economies of the world, these have been the unsung heroes of these growing economies. China, India, Brazil, name it. So, looking at these examples, we think it can be a benefit in Uganda. I'm looking at areas, especially these that are near borders, like Arua, like Chisoro, like Kabale. If they are supported, they could boost even production, and they could even boost export, looking at production of textiles.
When you say supported, what does that mean?
Supported means cutting down, reducing the cost of doing business, reducing the power costs, reducing the cost of money, reducing the interest rates, investing in transport infrastructure. This would make it easier for them, and it would boost them. Also, it's important to mention that in this line, we want to boost production. In our manifesto, we presented our school feeding program, where the government is going to be feeding children at school. Now, the people that are going to be supplying these foodstuffs are going to be the ordinary citizens. And in the new Uganda, the government will work with the parent teachers associations, the PTA, to ensure that they identify not only the most vulnerable, but also the most trusted and competent suppliers, the eggs, the wheat, the rice, the flour, to feed the children. This way, we're going to be able to support even the small producers, the women, and the ordinary people out there. We believe that this is not only going to boost education, but it's going to help in youth unemployment. We also intend to modernize our skills development.
Your time is spent, but I'm going to allow you a minute. You have made recognition of manufacturing and tourism. These are high level in terms of strategic for any presidential candidate. Leaders have been describing it as Uganda's economic growth. However, there's one structural problem that still hinders both sectors right now, and that is unreliable power supply and high electricity costs. What's your solution?
Well, the high electricity costs can be renegotiated. As government, we can go as far as renegotiating with Bujagali to ensure that the power comes down, because that is what is going to help the productivity. There's one thing, if you allow me also talk about, that's the exploitation. The current government prides in youth employment. where mainly the industries that are owned by foreigners actually exploit the citizens to an extent that young Ugandans are paid as low as 3,500 shillings a day. Now, I was in Parliament in 2019 and we passed the minimum wage bill. Unfortunately, General Museveni refused to sign it. Now, we are going to reintroduce it in a new Uganda and I will sign it because I will be president.
Thank you.
Our fellow Ugandans, at a time when our nation is at crossroads, at a time when all institutions of state are under capture, including the judiciary, a time when a judge sits to adjudicate, to decide a case, has not to look at what the law says, but consider what General Museveni wants. At a time when appointment of judges is by a person and yet is supposed to be by the Judicial Service Commission, a time when even a justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Chisache, is in exile because she fears for her life, having disagreed with the status quo. A time when political leaders are in jail, people like Dr. Kizza Besigye for no case whatsoever, where citizens are tortured on camera by those that are supposed to protect them. A time where social media is blocked. Facebook, as we speak right now, is blocked just because one person does not like it. A time when laws are applied selectively, where some people are in prison for apparently being charged for computer misuse. And yet, as a person standing right here, I'm a victim of harassment and threats by the highest official in the military, threatening to behead me. In a time where a country is completely captured, I want you to know that a new Uganda is possible. A new Uganda can come, and it's by you and me. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you as a typical Ugandan. I've grown up in your faces. I've grown up from the lowest of society to here where I am today. I am a symbol of resilience, a symbol of discipline. I came from the ghetto, the worst of character, but to be that I'm a happily and decently married man, well educated and all that, that speaks of my character. Ladies and gentlemen, I present myself to this generation, to unite this generation, to uplift this generation, to stop tribalism, to unite the country. And with your support, with your endorsement, I am sure we can all change Uganda. I've said it before and I say it again. I don't present myself as the most capable or the most educated or the oldest or the most experienced, but the most committed to lead this generation out of slavery. When you vote for me, when you vote for the National Unity Platform, you'll be voting to end 40 years of dictatorship. You will be voting for servant leadership. I present myself not as a boss, but as a servant. And most importantly, we as a nation will be able to march forward together. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, please remember that we have an opportunity to redefine our history, an opportunity to start over again. This opportunity is coming on the 15th of January to end the hate, to end the historical injustices, to end tribalism, and to rebuild our country. I am sure Ugandans, especially the young ones, love each other. They want to live together, but they are stuck in the past. It is our opportunity to unchain and unhinge and move forward. Therefore, I call upon all of you to vote for me. Yes, I have the highest respect for all these contenders right here, but I'm the best choice. The people of Uganda have shown it to you. It is only a pretender that will not agree that the person elected to be president of Uganda in 2021 was Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. The people of Uganda have consistently shown it to you, from the north to the south, from the east to the west. None of the candidates can win me in an election, even in their own backyard. Therefore, I might fail to convince them to join the winning team. But you, the people of Uganda, have always taken a lead. You have led us. Please lead us. Let us liberate our country, and forever we shall end this slavery. I thank you for God and my country. Our fellow Ugandans, at a time when our nation is at crossroads, at a time when all institutions of state are under capture, including the judicial.
Abalungi abatuuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tuchaddeko ewa Sheikh Ashraf Dembe.
Sebo sanyusa okubalaba amannya agange nze Sheikh Ashraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo. Omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde musomereddwa tumwa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulomba edduwa. Abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala. Neetaaze ennamba yange yeeno eri 0701763711. Nammwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku dduwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze amaka gakolongotana sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amannya go ebyo byokka bijja kummala nja kukulombera edduwa ojja kutereera. Olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa ey'awamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.